legend where magic meets the heart. Commander Pod, where the stories unfold, with heroes and villains new and old. Dungeons and Dragons got the word, the world of EVA we play.
Hello everyone, welcome again to Commander's Pod. I'm your pod father Duncan.
I'm Sloan.
And we are Jeffless once again.
Yep.
Another vacation strike.
Yes.
So today we're going to talk about what if we were the rules committee? What would we change? The rules committee for Commander, what would we change?
Make it perfect, obviously, because you're the pod father.
Yeah.
I mean,
Make
podcast over.
Yeah. Okay, we're done. And we'll see you next week. Now,
Yeah.
We have Tales from the Table.
Yes, we do.
We have a That Doesn't Do What You Think It Does. We haven't had one of those in a while.
Yes, we haven't. This is a good one, too.
Yep. No Aggro Jeff this week, and we do have some pro tips.
Yes, we do.
So, Sans the Aggro Jeff, which would normally go here, we'll go right into Tales from the Table. So, the newest, the third iteration of the Commander League started up.
Right. So this is I'm pretty excited about it. So I actually ended up being able to join. I was going to join at first, and I wasn't. And then my wife, she very lovingly, we celebrated her birthday because the day we're recording this, it's actually her birthday. But we had some friends over, including Duncan and Jeff, and some other coworkers, and they all came over and celebrated my wife's birthday. We played board games and had a brunch spread that was, royalty. Yeah, royalty would have been jealous of this.
That bacon you make, the orc bacon,
bacon.
That's the star.
Yeah, I know. It's so good every time.
But just below it were, these little, I can't believe Dwayne went to this effort. These little
sliders, like breakfast sliders, essentially.
Little tiny pancakes for the bun.
Yep.
And then a mixture of beef and sausage for the patty.
Yep.
And then a quail egg.
And like goat cheese or feta cheese on
goat
something.
Cheese.
Yeah, goat cheese.
They were phenomenal.
Oh, they were really good.
Sunny
they were great.
side up quail egg. You have not seen the eggs that tiny sunny side up before in your life.
Right. So we had a great time on Saturday, and so the guys were kind of joking around with her and pestering because I kept telling them, I was like, well, me and the wife just kind of talked about we don't think, I'll be able to do it this time around. And so at the end of the party, we were cleaning up, and she looked at me. She's like, do you really want to go to the league thing? I was like, I would really like to. It'd be fun, but it's, obviously I want to spend time with you and be with you. And she's like, well, you're not going to try to go every single week, are you? I was like, again, I would like to, but I understand if I can't. She's like, all right, I guess you can go. So I was able to mosey on down there.
Yeah, he calls me en route.
Yeah, en route. I'm like, put aside the World Shaper deck from Edge of Eternities. Yeah. So with the Commander League now in beginning process, I am playing World Shaper, Edge of Eternities, which is black, red, green. And Duncan is playing
Quick Draw, which is the deck I started with last time, and I should have just stuck with it.
Yeah.
And it did it was in the running in all three games for me.
Yeah, that is the red-blue Spellslinger deck for those who aren't aware. So I
know you won one.
Yes, which we'll get to in a moment. I came out with 1 win and 2 losses, but the 2 losses I had previously, again, were really close. And the nice thing I like about the deck is I'm keeping the main commander, which is the space ship that you have to station. And the reason why I kind of like it is because you can kind of decide, okay, I'm going to turn him on and make him a creature now, right? And so the cool thing about that is like I actually put him out and had him just be an artifact and just his first ability, which is pay 1, tap him, sacrifice the land, and then you get to, I think, draw two cards. So the nice thing about that is like if people aren't going to do artifact removal, which in a lot of precons, not really a lot there. There's a little bit, but you're not going to run into 4 or 5 of those. He can kind of just sit there and kind of get me digging and get me to the place where I need to get. But man, I'll tell you what, playing 4 lands a turn from your graveyard and hit everybody for 10 damage, 8 damage, just because you're sacrificing a land, really fun combo. Yep. So I was able to do that and be in contention every game. Every player, whoever ended up winning it, everybody else was basically at single-digit life. So they were all close for me. Even in the last game, technically, I think I won with 11 life.
Yeah.
And the other 2 players. We'll get to it. But technically, the game I won, Duncan was in as well. It was only a 3-person pod that game. But there was some stuff that happened that Duncan will go over. But yeah, so overall I did good. 1 win, 2 losses. And I like the deck. I thought it was going to be fun. So my focus that I'm going to be trying to get to is going to be, I'm going to try to do some earthbending stuff. So I'm going to try to get some avatar cards in it. And that do specifically earthbending, because the great part about earthbending is whenever that land creature is dies or is exiled, it comes back. So basically, I can get 3 or 4 landfall triggers potentially real quick to happen over and over and over again, which obviously the deck is landfall based. So that's my strategy, but I did okay first week.
Yep. And I am starting with the commander that I
Switched
to halfway
right.
through when I was using this deck, and it was the stronger commander. It's Eris, and Eris costs 10 mana, but it costs 2 less for each different costed instant and sorcery in your graveyard.
Right.
So I was able to cast 1 game. 2 games I paid 6 the first time, and the third game I played 4, which is really good. I mean, if you can only pay 4 for him. And he has prowess 4/4 flying, and then also whenever you cast your second spell each turn, you create a 4/4 dragon with prowess.
Yes.
So really good. But so this infamous last game. So the first 2 games, I'm in it. I mean, I'm one of the contenders. I just got beat fair and square. You know, it happens. First game, the guy who won, it was actually Dwayne. He was playing Velociraptor. My idea. Thank you very much.
So it's like you got to win.
Actually, 2 of the 5 pods in the first round, 2 of the decks that won were ones I picked for them.
Oh, really?
It was that one, and then the Teamer Roar.
Yeah.
Which I recommend to this guy Bobby.
Okay.
But anyway, I was in them, but that first one, like, Dwayne he got out of control, and nobody had a board wipe.
Right.
And the only board wipe I had was Blasphemous Act, and he had out the dinosaur that says whenever your dinosaurs take damage, you can deal that much damage to any target.
Oh,
so I'm not about to deal 13 damage to his 7 dinosaurs.
Right, and he could literally just kill everybody.
Yeah, he could win. So, yeah, just nothing I can do, and he just ran over us.
Right.
But that last game, so I had that game in hand.
You did, 100%.
I had Shark Typhoon out. I had 2 8/8 flying sharks. I had a 4/4 flying shark. I had a 3/3 flying shark. I had 6 4/4 dragons with prowess, untapped, ready to go.
Right.
And I passed my turn. I have 19 life, 20 life. I have 20 life. You were at 11.
I was, so at the end of your turn, you were at 20 life or 19 life. I was at 8.
8. And she was at 8. She was at 8.
8.
You were both at 8. Mm-hmm. And as I'm passing, you're like, I have you drew, and I'm like, you need a board wipe. And
right.
You're
and
like, I didn't get it.
I didn't get it. Like, I didn't have a board wipe, and literally that was the only option. Because the biggest issue, which I should have taken care of at the beginning of the game, was he had Voice of Duality out. So every single time he cast something, he wasn't just getting 1 4/4 dragon, he was getting 2.
And in Shark Typhoon,
he was getting 2. And like his Typhoon, because again, Voice of Duality specifically says whenever a permanent triggers, it triggers again. So the Typhoon, the Shark Typhoon.
If you use an instant sorcery to trigger it.
Right, exactly. If you use it, so it's like this, literally at the end of his turn, he went from having like 6 creatures to like he had like 18. It was just like there's nothing we can do.
And 2 8/8 flying sharks, which I'm very proud of.
Right. I mean, and that's the other thing. All of them were flying. So even my space station, which had flying, which I feel like it's a space station. It should have flying above flying. I feel like it's like no. You have to be like double flying
in orbit.
Yeah, like in orbit or something. But so that's the only flyer I have, and he's got more than enough to just decimate.
And so he says out loud, "I didn't get a board wipe."
Yeah.
And turns to the other player, this lady named Evelyn, and he goes, I have no shot here.
Yeah,
I have no way to interact. I got nothing. Do you have anything? And she's like, well, actually, if you attack me, I have these 13 1/1 elementals. And I have out Omnath who says when an elemental dies, it deals 3 damage.
Right.
And you had 12? No, you had 6.
I had 2 6/6s that were on the ground that could attack. So essentially what she was going to do was she was going to block one of them.
No, you had to use the one for something else. I remember he was tapped. You had your flying that you could do, and then you had your 1 6/6.
Yeah, so what it was I had 2 flyers. I had my commander who was flying, and I had the other guy. Then I had the landfall guy, which was the one that gave me multiple combats on my turn for every single time a land came in. So what I had basically done was I said, listen, Duncan's going to win unless we have some kind of board wipe.
But anyway, however it worked out,
she
was going to be able to, on the ground, block 6 damage.
Right, with 6 1/1s.
6 1/1s, which would then deal 18 damage to me.
Right.
Putting me at 1 life.
Right.
And he's like, but I still can't get through. But he's thinking about it a little bit. And I say to her, I don't say don't do that. I don't say I just say, you do realize if you do that, he wins. He has more egg out.
Right.
He's going to get extra combats. He has other things.
Which at that point, they already knew. I already had 3 combats lined up.
Yeah.
I had already done the thing to get 3 combats lined up.
And I'm like, he's going to win. She says, I've got something for that. And so I shut up because I try not to tell people what to do. I'm not trying to be oppressive, but I want to make sure they see the big picture.
Right.
Okay. I step back. Sure enough, he attacks. She blocks with a 6. Oh, no. First, you did 3 sack lands. So
what happened was, because I had out the guy that gives me extra combats, I had the ability to sack a land, which was
you sacked 2 lands, getting 3 lands total for land drop.
Right, because I had Fable Passage and I had the secondary commander for the deck, which is you can play lands from your graveyard. So I sacked the Fable Passage, got a landfall trigger, brought the Fable Package back out, got another landfall trigger, sacked it again, got a 3rd landfall trigger.
Right.
So I had 3 combats then lined up.
Right. And I even had told him before, you don't want to do that in your first main because you don't get to untap on your last combat. It would then be your last combat. And I saw that he did that, and I was like, oh, maybe that'll be in my benefit. No, it didn't matter. Because with those 3, he had done... so I had 24 life to begin with.
That's right, because my commander was on. That's right, because my commander was online, which is why one of the other guys was tapped down.
25 life, I guess. 25 life.
Yeah.
So I had 25 life. So I mean, I really had this game.
Yeah.
But he did those 3. I'm down to 19. She is now down to 2.
2, correct.
Yeah.
And that's why I had to math it right.
Yeah.
Because I could have technically done more.
Right.
But I intentionally did it.
She blocked with her 6 things. Did what she said. She dealt 18 to me. I'm at 1. She's at 2. And then he's like. He had lethal swinging at her, and he's like, but don't worry. He's like, I'm going to tap this, tap 1, sacrifice the land.
2 more damage to both players.
2 more damage to both players.
So,
and here's where, I got a little salty. I didn't call names or anything like that, and I didn't yell. But I was like, I did say, it wouldn't have been so bad if I hadn't just told you he was going to win.
Right.
And she's like, well, I didn't see that coming. I had something. I'm like, but I told you that if you did what you did, he was going to win.
Right.
And she was like, well, I think I did pretty good. And I'm like, and I said a few more things like that, and I probably should have just shut my mouth. I did eventually. She said, well, this is my first time playing Commander. Then I started to feel a little bad, but I was still angry.
Right.
So it didn't really, I just toned it down. I said, oh, really? Okay. That was your first game. I didn't know that. And I just walked away because I was still angry.
Right.
But I do want to apologize because I definitely was salty. There was definitely stank in my voice.
I mean,
I did not hide it that I was salty.
Being the person who got the benefit of what happened. So just so you guys kind of understand, in my head, I'm thinking, I feel like she's like going to do something to trick me. I feel like there's something that's going to happen.
Well, I thought she was because you were so low on life. I thought she'd kill you, deal some to me. But when she said straight out, I'll do 18 damage to him, I'm like, well, I hope she's not the type that would just lie about it.
Right. And so, and again, I don't really politic, but I was sitting there thinking, I was like, well, at the very least, what I can do is I can try to force her hand, because she clearly has something that in her hand that I don't know about, and maybe what I can do is I can figure out a way to get around it if I force her hand. Because here's the other thing too: if she would have, for example, lied and said, "I'm actually just going to deal 11 to you to kill you," I would have said, "Great." In response, tap my commanders, sack a land, killed her, and it's done. Right? Her ability then gets exiled off the stack. I'm still alive, and I still have 3 more combats to go through.
Right.
So that was kind of my thought process was, well, I have an instant answer in case she does decide to turn and kill me instead. But I was like, she's making it sound like she has something else, like, and the only thing I can think of is like there might be like she might have a split-second Crozing Grip.
Yeah, something
right?
like that.
Right, yeah, right. And I'm like,
I think she probably had something that ended combat or no combat or damage was about
something
like that.
Right.
But what I should have done when I said, if you do that, he's going to win.
Right.
I should have pointed out, if she had just swung out at me, she had 3 5/5s and then those 13 1/1s.
Right, meaning you would have died.
I would have died because if I block them, I take 3 damage from those 1/1s.
But if you don't,
but if I don't, that's 13.
Yeah, it's enough to still kill
you. And you had already done the, and then she still has 3 5/5s, which I still have to deal with. And again, and I think she had a thing that gave him trample. So, and then she still could have had all our mana to do other things too.
Right.
She probably had a good chance of trying to win rather than just trying to stop me from winning.
Right, and I think, and again, that's
maybe she thought that on her turn she would then be able to,
Yeah, maybe she thought she would have gotten another turn or something.
But I do want to apologize because I was salty, and if she comes back next week, which I hope she does, I will apologize to her in face because it was not cool of me, and I'm not usually that guy. But I told her what was going to happen, and it happened, and in the moment I was very upset.
So. Being the third person at the table while this is kind of happening, I will say Duncan did not yell. However, he didn't yell in the same way where you might not yell at your child when you're frustrated with them. You're just talking very passionately.
Oh, I definitely had I'm very disappointed in you.
Yeah, it was very much a talking very passionately at her. So I hope she does come back next week so you can apologize to her. It was, it was an kind of foreseen. I think maybe in her sight of view, she didn't think that could have happened. But, it is what it is. Hopefully she might learn from it and learn that.
Don't trust Johnny.
I can't.
She never said, just don't kill me.
Right.
If she had said that, you wouldn't have been able to take advantage of it because I know you don't make deals.
Yeah, I would have been like, I'm not going to make that deal. I'm still going to swing at you though. So I'm going to force you to either block and try to kill him, or I'm going to make you and I would have told her that, which actually is why I lost the second game because the guy tried politicking. He's like, "Are you going to kill me on your turn?" I was like, "I don't know." He was like, will you just kill me? I was like, I don't make deals, dude. I don't do politics. I don't make deals. Sure enough, he kills me and hands the win to Mike because he's just like, I just want to be out of this game. I don't want to go to extra time. So he just decided to kill me and the other players so Mike could win. So, but yeah, it's one of those things where, again, we've kind of talked about this. We don't always know everyone's circumstances, situations, and knowledge of the game. Clearly, as Duncan said, he kind of started feeling bad when she's like, well, this is the first time I've ever played Commander. And he's like, well, that makes me feel kind of bad because obviously...
That was when I did take the stank out of my voice.
Yeah.
And I didn't change my words, but I changed my tone.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, really? And I stopped being negative, and I just said, okay, I didn't know that. And I got up and walked away because I needed to shut up.
Yeah, because, it's hard because obviously it is a competition, right? There is a prize. There is a prize, and there is something that you're working towards and trying to get.
But it's not just that. Like, I had worked 3 games I was in it, and I finally, I got this.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, if I lose, I lose. But I don't want somebody to hand somebody a win either.
That's how it felt for me in the second game. I was literally like, if it gets back to my turn, I'm like 100% sure I win this game. Because I had my commander out, I had him online, all the way up to 8 charge counters, and I was like, I'm pretty sure I can drop 8... sacrifice 7 or 8 lands on my next turn.
The other thing, though, I will say that she said, and that's what tweaked me even more before she said I'm a new player. She said, well, I've been sitting here all game not doing anything because what I had done...
Right.
She was playing the elemental deck, the new one, and I kept killing her commander because once the commander's gone, yes, you do cool stuff, but...
It's not nearly as cool.
You're not getting a copy of it and doing it again.
Right.
And so, I kind of felt like she was implying, well, you kept blowing up my thing, so there you go.
Yeah.
She may not have meant it that way, so that's part of the problem. But anyway, I will apologize. But the other thing that came out of it is our DATS doesn't do what you think it does.
Yep.
Now, during my second game I played, I was in a different 3-man pod. There were 3 4-man pods and 2 3-man pods because... some of the players couldn't make it week 1. We're going to have a few more week 2. But anyway, and it came up, the person who was sitting to my right was playing the Goad deck, that red-white most wanted.
Okay, yep.
Yep, from Thunder Junction.
Yeah.
And I had out Ghost Propaganda. Okay. He goaded our other opponent's creature.
Right.
And a couple times the guy had attacked me and paid 2, and I'm not worried about it. I wasn't taking a ton of damage.
Right.
But after like the third round, I did point out, I said, he started to go to tap the mana. I go, you do know that if you don't tap that mana, you don't have to attack me. He goes, I don't. I go, no, that can't make you tap your mana.
Right.
He goes, oh. I go, but you do have to attack, but you can attack him. He goes, I can? I go, yeah. And the guy who was playing the most wanted goes, no, you can't. He's goaded. I said, yeah, goaded says you must attack another player if able.
Right.
Because of propaganda, he's not currently able. If he pays the 2, he is, but that is an optional cost that your ability does not force.
Right, correct.
And he's like, no, he can't attack me. I'm like, he can. And I said, we can call the judge over. He goes, no, if you guys both say so. Because the other guy's, oh, yeah, I remember that now. Mm-hmm. But afterwards, he did ask the judge, and the judge said, yes, that is how that works. So just so people know, goad and propaganda or ghostly prison or one of those that do things like that cannot make you attack that person as long as you don't pay the 2. If you pay the 2, now you can attack that person, so you must, or at least can attack the controller. But if you have no optional people to attack except the controller, goad says you must attack the controller.
Right. Yeah. So the wording on goad is very specific, which is why that's important. Because, for example, if goad said, goad target creature, it must attack next turn if able. The player must spend any mana it can to attack if able. Different story, because now it's forcing you to tap that mana to attack with propaganda, because technically it is saying you have to.
And there are goad-like effects that say you may not. There's some things where you can put counters on your creature, and if you do, you must attack, but you can attack the player that may let you do that.
Right.
Things like that. Mm-hmm. But goad is not. Goad says if able to attack somebody else, you must attack. So
right. So that's a good one because goad, especially with all of these creature-focused decks, is becoming more and more popular. Obviously, people want to goad other people's creatures so that way they can swing out without any repercussions. And so obviously that means your pillow forts are going to get more and more popular as well. Ghostly Prison and Propaganda being 2 of the most famous and infamous ones out there.
Yep. So anyway, that doesn't do what you think it does. So what if we were the rules committee, right?
Yeah, this is a great.
What, not that they're doing a bad job. I think the new rules committee's been doing pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely.
But if we were the rules committee, what will we change? So for instance, let's talk about bans.
Right.
Okay. More bans, less bans, unbans. What do you think?
I do think there's some unbans that you could do. Now, here's the thing. I will say that just because I think something should be unbanned, I do think it should still probably go on the Game Changers list, though. Because the point, again, of the Game Changers list is to protect the casual format.
Right. And that is how they've been unbanning. They unban it, and then they put it on the Game Changers. And if then it still seemed like a problem, they'd reban it.
Right.
Or it can stay on Game Changers, or there has been a case where it came off of even that.
Yeah, exactly. So I do think there's a couple of cards you could probably see go from the ban list to the Game Changers list. Now, I will say this, and this is probably a little bit more controversial. I don't think they should ever unban Jeweled Lotus or Mana Crypt. Because the more and more I think about it, their whole shtick is we don't want those in a casual format because they accelerate the game too quickly. They get out of control, right? And so I'm actually more okay with Dockside becoming a game changer. Because the reason why is it is more interactable because both Jeweled Lotus and Mana Crypt have a glaring issue, in my opinion, that Dockside does not have. And Duncan, because you're such a whiz, I'll let you see if you can figure out why.
Well, there's 2. Number one, they're artifacts, which is harder to remove their creature. But the other thing is their mana abilities, and most things that like stop abilities say unless it's a mana ability.
So those are both true, but there's a bigger issue, I think, in why they shouldn't be, which is they are both 0 drops. And there is almost no way you're going to stop somebody if that is in their opening hand from getting it out.
Vexing Bauble.
Right. Again.
That's a 1 cost. If you go before them, you put out.
But that's my point. If you're not going before them, there is almost no chance of you stopping that person from having 3 mana on turn 1, right?
Yeah.
Or with Jeweled Lotus, technically 4 mana on turn 1. And I mean, just to look at it, how many commanders have we seen recently where the cost of them is 4 or less that you could get out literally on turn 1? Prosper, Vivi, Cloud. I mean, like, you just go through and name all of these strong commanders that if you're able to get them out on turn 1, it's like you're like 10 turns ahead, right? And so that's why I think those should stay on the ban list personally, because the fact that there's 0 drops, the chances of you being able to stop it if it's in someone's opening hand is slim to none. It's very, very low. I know there is 0 cost counters, guys. I get that. I know there are 0 costs or before game effects. I get that. But the chances of you having that in your hand and them having those in their hand at the same time, slim to none.
But here's the problem that Dockside has that they don't.
Right.
Dockside can become a problem for multiple players for you.
Sure.
You know, somebody plays a Dockside and they get 5 treasures. Well, then the next person plays, now they get whatever there was plus those 5.
Right.
And
well, only if the person lets them sit.
Well, yeah, they're probably going to let them sit, though. They played the Dockside. They're like, I'm not going to sack my treasures and let you have, because now you're going to get 5. Those would have been my 5. You can just have 10. I've got 5.
But the biggest thing for me is, and this is the counterpoint to that, is a lot of time Dockside, which is it's a 2-drop on turn 2, not that valuable.
No, it's true.
Right? Like, that's the point, is like, it's only as, so this is one of those things where I kind of talk to people about, like, there's certain cards that it's like, they're only as strong as everyone else's decks make them, right? Dockside is one of those cards in my mind. If you're playing, for example, if I'm playing against our friend Dave's Urza deck, Dockside's a monster, because that whole deck's just artifacts.
Or somebody playing Enchantress.
Yeah, or someone playing, something like that where they're producing a lot of these rocks and stuff like that. But if you're playing against more casual decks that aren't pumping out 4 or 5 mana rocks or enchantments a turn like those decks do, you're going to pay 2 and get 5.
Dockside is enchantments too, right? Isn't it?
I believe it is. I do have it right here. I can double check and see. But it's
now been so long.
Right.
I don't remember.
Yeah, next artifacts and enchantments your opponents control.
I was like, I'm not wrong, right? Like, I'm not.
No, it is both. But my point is it's only as good as the table's going to make it. And again, like you said, it's easier to deal with. It's easier to stop a chain. It's like, okay, it comes out, I counter, or I destroy it as soon as it hits. Because again, it's
in a
2 mana.
Brago type deck, right? Mm-hmm. Flicker deck. I mean, they can't put Dockside.
It can't be in there, but yes, that effect.
Anything that has an effect, a turn 2 Dockside where you can then flicker it can still be very big.
Oh yeah, absolutely. If you have the ability to keep bouncing it up and down over and over again, absolutely. I built a Kess deck that had that infinite loop in it.
Yeah.
Right.
So I mean, it can be a problem, but I get what you're saying. I think all 3 are probably problems, and I think they should just make better versions of them. Like, if you make Mana Crypt and it comes in tapped, fixed.
Yeah, a lot more reasonable. 100%.
No, it's fixed because that 2 damage has killed people. The possible 2 damage, you flip a coin, has killed people. And then Jewel Lotus should say something like, cannot be used for turn 3.
Right, which we've seen on some cards. We even saw it on a land from Final Fantasy.
It could say, can only be used to pay commander tax. That would make it fair. Yeah,
that's a good way. The other thing is you could say, for example, like you said, can't be played on turns 1, 2, or 3. I think there's a Jace that does the same thing. It can't be played on turn 1, 2, or 3. Yeah, I mean, there's certain things about it. I think one way to fix Jeweled Lotus 2, maybe another way is it has to produce a colorless and then 1 of any color. So at least it doesn't make it easier for these commanders that have 2 or 3 of the same color in there. It makes it a little bit more difficult.
Yeah.
I don't know, something
they could make new
to slow it down.
So I don't think unbanning any of those 3. There is some possible stuff you could unban.
Yeah.
I would almost say, so here's my thing. This goes with the game changers, right?
Yeah.
I do think we need a lot more game changers, but they don't want the game changers list to be heavy, right?
Right.
So if you need it not to be heavy, but there's too much stuff, then maybe some stuff needs to be banned to make room for more stuff. That's an argument.
Yeah, I can see that.
One thing overall, I would say, so this kind of goes with the brackets too.
Yeah.
They don't want the brackets to be complicated, right? They want it to be very easy. You can make it very easy by making a website where you upload your deck and it kind of tells you. And it's not now. It can't take desire what you meant for the deck to do because people will build a deck that's technically by the rules, but they want it to be like super powerful.
Right.
So I can't take that into account. But it allows you then to put way more things on the game changers list. Make it a tiered list, because the problem with the game changer, I love the game changer list, but the problem is they're not all equal. Some things are a little bit of a problem, and some things on that list are a lot of a problem. And it's not fair to consider those two things even.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you have 3 little things that are problems on a game changer list versus somebody who has 3 big problem things on a game changer list.
Right.
You know. So
and kind of to that point too,
make it more complicated, but then make a website where it gives you here's what you are. Because then you can have a tiered bracket system, and then you could do a tiered game changer, and you could say you can have 20 points worth of game changers. Yeah. And some things might be 5 points, some things might be 4, 3, 2, 1, depending on, so things like that. I think they need to make it more complicated so that they can, have more ways to structure it.
Right.
But I think they need to make it less complicated for a player. Simply upload your deck list and it'll tell you.
Right. And I mean, it's hard because it's one of those things where when you're kind of looking at it, it's like, well, then who determines what is more of a problem, what isn't more of a problem, right? Because the problem, again, and it kind of comes back to deck design. If you have a deck that is an enchantment deck going up against a deck that is a aggro deck, creature aggro deck, and then you have a spellslinger deck, well, technically, the spellslinger deck, even though it may not have as many game changers as the other ones, is a problem because if he builds it like you do notoriously with all your blue ones, 15 counters in it. I mean, geez Louise, it doesn't matter if they have 4 game changers. More likely than not, they're going to just be getting locked out.
So I'm going to let you know a little secret. I have not put 15 game changers or 15 counter spells in a deck in like 2 years.
Yeah.
But everybody assumes I do, so they think I have them, and they just don't do things.
Yeah.
It works out great.
Right.
But anyway, yeah. No, I get.
That's the only thing is it makes it a little bit difficult when you start trying to give a value to a game changer over another one.
But you give counter spells a certain game changer value.
Sure. I mean, I get that. Because it's
in those like a Narset's reversal is way more powerful than one you paid 4 for that just simply counters the spell. So there are tiers there, and you can make counter spells a game changer, which they probably should be monitored because, like you said, yeah, sure, they're no problem. But if your deck has 12, 18, 24 of them, it's a problem. You're just like nobody can do anything.
Right. And, so I get that. It's the point value system, it's appealing and does have its lure to it. I mean,
I just don't think
hard.
It can be fair because right now, Roaming Throne's not a game changer.
Right. I absolutely think it should be because every time I've ever put that out, and
it's gross.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
It's bad. It never ends well for my opponents. It always ends almost guaranteedly in victory. That's what I did the other day at my house for my wife's birthday. We actually, one of the tables playing board games, we were playing Magic, and it got back to my turn. I had 15 life. Before I went on and did my shindigs with Azula, I cast Roaming Throne, no one had an answer. I named humans. Off to the races I went, and 75 spells later, I won the game.
Yeah.
And all because I got double triggers.
They're trying to thin down the list, and I think they need to add a lot more stuff to it.
What would be a number for the game changer list you think this is where we should try to hover around?
I don't think there is a number. If it's something that can be a game changer, put it on the list. That's my whole point. I think the list could get out of control. I think you could easily have almost 100 right now, just with the cards right now. And as the game evolves, you're going to get more.
Well, so to give you an idea, if we were to go up to 100, that would double the current amount right now.
Yeah.
I think 100 is probably where it should sit. And the reason why I say that is because the advantage of the game changer list, which is the quote-unquote casual ban list, it's easier just to say, okay, this is no longer banned, or on the game changer list, because people are still buying those cards and playing them.
Yeah.
The downside with the ban list is it's going to tank all the values as soon as you put a card on that list, it tanks the values. Does not do that for game changers though, right? Because again, still legal, can still play it in 3 and higher.
For instance, they should also, while talking about the ban list, they should go back to banned as commander.
Yeah, I do think there were a couple of game changers they took off where I was having a conversation with someone at a different shop, not our shop. It was actually one of the workers there, and he's like, I don't think that's an issue card. I was like, I was like, it was specifically Urza, because they took Urza off the Game Changers list. And their argument was kind of like you said, well, he's only an issue if he's a commander. And I'm like,
when he is.
I was like, I don't think you realize that he just goes in any deck that cares
He
about
does,
artifacts.
but the
that's
difference
blue.
is you can exile him, and now he is gone from the game.
Yeah, but again, like, he's going to be in a blue deck. He's going to do his thing way faster than you can probably get rid of him unless you immediately counter him.
It's possible, but I'm telling you, he is way worse as a commander where no matter what you do, he keeps coming back.
I'm not saying he's not worse as a commander. I'm just saying I still think he is Game Changer worthy in the 99.
I mean, that could be an argument.
Right?
But if they're going to take commanders and say, well, this is a commander, you can't make it a Game Changer, then make it banned as commander.
Yeah, I mean, I see the value in that. So,
or make it Game Changer as commander.
Yeah, it's a Game Changer as a commander. So if you use this as your commander, it counts as one of your Game Changers, which I like that. I think that would work. I think that would help. But I do think the advantage of the Game Changer list is you can put things on and off there, and it doesn't hurt the value of those cards for the people who have been buying them.
But my point is, if you had banned as commander, Nadu, again, he could come back.
Yeah.
Because, again, once you remove him, I mean, there's graveyard recursion, but other than that, you can exile him. There's very few ways to get them back from exile. There are a few, but you have to specifically have them in your deck,
right?
And get to them, and
and that is a good point. Like, a Nadu or an Urza, or I mean, the one that they did take off, which is still mind blowing to me, is Yuriko, because she just ignores commander tags anyways.
Yeah.
It's like it's insane, but. They are obviously much more lethal in the command zone because having them repeatedly be able to come back out without any kind of really repercussions except for commander attacks.
And I think the reason they stopped doing as commander is because they said it was confusing. I don't think they're giving people enough credit. I think for most people it's easy to figure out what banned as commander or Game Changer as commander.
Well, don't forget, they said that commander players won't understand what hybrid means if they were to change the rules. So.
Yeah,
which was a bold statement to make. But, I mean, I do think there's some cards we could probably take off the ban list. I think the Game Changer list would be better used if we kind of use it with the ideology of a ban list, even though the cards aren't banned in all formats. Because with that in my mind, I do think when it comes to the brackets, we'll kind of jump down to there. I do think there should be a little bit more clarification on the bracket system. I don't think they need a lot of clarification.
They fixed a lot of it. They took out some of the ambiguity.
Right.
But you still have things like intent having a difference. You can't quantify that. You have to trust that everybody playing that is doing it out of the goodness of their heart and with the right intent and the right. You can't assume that because there are some dirty players out there that are like, this is a tier 2. I got no Game Changers.
Right, absolutely. So I do think that.
I won turn 4.
Yeah, I do think that modifying the Game Changers quantity would be one thing I'd probably do, specifically for bracket 4, because that's the biggest hindrance for me.
And I think bracket 3. Why doesn't bracket 2 get any Game Changers? 1 can have them if it makes sense, but 2 can't have them for any reason.
Right, and I think that's kind of that's
just
like a loophole. Yeah, it's like a weird loophole. That's not a loophole. It's just built into the rules hole. So I don't I don't get how that works, but because the thing that's funny is they say, well, as long as it's on theme. Yeah, I don't know if you know this, but some of the cards they reprint a lot of them. And they print them with whatever the set theme is. So if you're like, oh, it's pirate theme. Well, this Smothering Tide has a picture of a pirate on it, so that counts. It's like, wait a minute. It's like, that's not how that works. Yeah. That's crazy.
What's next? Tier 1 can play band cards if it's on theme?
Yeah, as long as it's on theme, you can play
I'm playing pirates. I'm playing Dockside.
Yeah, exactly. It's Dockside. He's a pirate. What do you want me to do? So that it does lend itself to have that fault in it. I do think, bracket 2, I would probably bump them up to 1 Game Changer. Bracket 3, I'd probably leave at 3. And then bracket 4, I'd say like 5 to 7-ish would probably be the range I put it at. Right. And then 5, it's gun-ho.
Yeah.
Do whatever you want.
As many as you want, because that has CEDH.
Right.
But they treat 4 as like CEDH 1.0.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Which I don't like.
It's like CEDH in training, in their opinion.
I don't like it. I don't like the fact that it's pretty much the identical rule set to 5. Like, it makes no sense to me. It's like, why even have it then? I did see a lot of people say that, bracket 1 doesn't exist. Obviously, because the rules are really weird about it, as we just mentioned. So a lot of people were like, I saw a video someone said, it was like one of those hot take videos where someone's walking around a convention asking questions, and this guy walks up, he goes like, what's your Magic the Gathering hot take? He goes like, bracket 1 doesn't exist. If you think you have a bracket 1 deck, you're just lying to yourself. I was thinking about it, I was like, he's kind of got a point. Like,
no, they do exist.
Yeah, I mean,
but they don't go to conventions. They don't even usually go to the local game shop because they're the ones
that play at home.
They're playing at home because they think Sol Ring's too powerful.
Yeah.
The games are too short. They want one game that takes like 5 hours that you build up, and then you have big stompy creatures going against each other.
Yeah, it's a mecha fight is all it is. Yeah. So I mean, but I would say that I don't like. There needs to be a little bit more clarification on some of the rules. Again, they did a really good job in October. I think they did a great job of certain clarifications.
I think they should stop worrying so much about keeping it simple. Make it cohesive, and then try and make it as simple as they can from there.
Yeah, from the cohesive. Yeah, I think if we had a little bit more clarification on things, even if we had to add some more stuff that might be a little difficult maybe to grasp. I think for the most part, though, most players, when you show them this, they still have questions, even with the current bracket, like what certain things means. For example, what the heck's a game changer? Right? So, but I think for the most part, you could easily make it a little bit more clean cut, trim a little bit more fat, add a couple more rules, and I don't think it would be much more difficult than it is now, and I think it could make it exponentially better. But I do think, again, I agree with Duncan, great system. I love it. I love the fact that it's a really easy way to sit down and look at something and say, okay, this is how you do this to be in this bracket. Seems simple enough. Almost every single deck building website now tells you what game changers are. They notify them either with a symbol or they put it in a column.
You're relying on that. You
Sure.
could build into that.
Well,
give the values for things. They'll code that in for you. But let me give you a scenario. All right, somebody wants to join your pod.
Mm-hmm.
Never, first time coming into your shop. Maybe first time playing Magic.
Right.
Right. I bought this deck online. Somebody made it. I don't know what a game changer is. Mm-hmm. What's my bracket? All right, let me take your deck, go through every card. All right, that's a game changer. That's a game. All right, you're a 3. That's going to take a while. You're not going to know off the top of your head every game changer. I don't think there's anybody I know that has memorized the list and can say for absolute certainty that they know every card.
Right.
That's going to take a while. However, you take your thing, you scan those cards into it, boop, boop, boop. And by the way, TCG Player Scanner was the slowest. I tried it the other day. It's now like lightning fast.
Yeah.
So all of them have figured out how to make it lightning fast. Boop, 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 boop. You scan all the cards but the lands, the basic lands. Put it in there. It figures it out for you.
Yeah, I mean, with that logic, though, they could have just done it at home before they came. They could have gone to Architect or Mox Field or Goldfish.
They're new and they don't know. They don't understand. They don't know the website. Whatever. But my point is, we're already kind of relying on online telling us, right? We either have to go look it up, or we have to scan it in and have Architect or Mox Field or whoever tell us. Mm-hmm. Just have it so the whole website will tell you. You make a whole program that is just designed for a commander to tell you what tier your deck is. And in that case, then you can have the tiered game changers. You can have the ban list, everything coded in. It tells you all of it all at once. No muss, no fuss, no arguments.
Yeah, I will say this. And when I did Architect the other day, I built a deck that had only 3 game changers in it. It did actually say it was a 4.
How could it?
Because
did you have a 2-card combo in there?
No. So what it did was when I clicked the little thing to see, it said the cohesiveness and the optimization of your deck would put it to a 4.
Okay, so they've been tweaking it.
Right, exactly. So that's my point. Because I will say when I first did it, that wasn't a thing. It just looked and said, oh, you have less than 3 game changers, you're a 3. Or you have no game changers, you're a 2. It didn't do that. But recently when I did it with a deck I just built, it did say, even though there was only 3 game changers, it said it was a 4 because it was well optimized.
So there it tells you that this is the way to go.
Right.
Make it a scannable thing. Put as many game changers as you think are realistic. Give them a rating from 1 to 6 or 1 to 5, 1 to 10, whatever you think is necessary, because then they're not all created equal. It can look in there for how much mass land destruction you have. All these things that are right now ambiguous would be definitive, and you can figure it out within 5 minutes what tier a deck is. All you need is a phone with a camera.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's a good point, and I think it's something if they did invest into, it definitely would reap more benefits than it would harm.
You could even give the shops the ability to, like, certify decks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And they'll come in, they'll scan it for you, $5, you get your deck scanned, you get a certification from the store. It's a certified tier 3.
Right.
You know what I mean? Whatever. I'm just saying, if you wanted to for tournaments and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, they want it simple, but they need it to be simple but cohesive, and it has to be a little bit complex. You can make it simple for the players while still making it complex.
Yeah.
That's my main point.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. So, in regards to rules changes, for the most part, I don't really have many issues with most of the rules right now in the Commander format. I know some people brought up Commander attacks, I think, too much or it's ridiculous. I know another big one right now is Commander damage irrelevant. We shouldn't count it. Sit down and play with my infinite life gain deck. You tell me how irrelevant Commander damage is.
So here is a thing that I think is a legitimate thing that we need to address.
Okay.
Right? Mulligans.
Yeah.
I like the system. However, we have all had games where, okay, draw 7. I got 1 land. All right, you put it back. Shuffle up. Draw 7. I didn't get any lands. Shuffle it up. I got 2 lands. Well, now you're down 2 cards, right?
1 card.
1 card. Well, so you shuffle up again. Well, okay, well, now I got 3 lands, but I'm a 4-color deck, and I only have 2 colors.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, so now you're down 2 cards. There should be a flat line in a casual game. A flat line. Okay, at this point, let your opponent go through your deck, pick you a hand of 7, has to have at least 3 lands of different colors. That's the only, and it can't be all lands. Like, make some kind of caveat so the opponent doesn't just give you the worst, like 7 lands.
Right.
And then just let them play.
I mean, you could even just say, hey, you get to go pick out 3 different basic lands, and then you just take the next 4 off the top. Because regardless of what happens with those 4, you have 3 lands.
Right.
Right? Like, that would be an easier way of doing
it.
You just go pick 3 basic lands, even if you're 4 or 5 colors, listen, I'm giving you three different colors, guaranteed.
Well, so you're going to be down cards, but say those 3 different lands and then draw 2. That's the baseline. If you get past where you're going to discard, put more than 2 to the bottom, at that point, go get 3 basic lands, shuffle up, draw 2. Mm-hmm. There's your hand. I think it makes it fair for everybody. Yeah, I think it makes sure nobody is just has one of those bad. I mean, people complain about random number generators on Arena, but it can just happen randomly where it's like you got your lands in there. They may even be well shuffled, but there are just little patches.
Yeah.
Where it's one way or the other.
I mean, I will say most casual games, though, at least for our play group, we are 100% okay with just infinite mulligans if you need to, especially for newer players. We're not going to punish them and make them not enjoy the night. So, I mean, that is one thing I will say that a lot of more casual games and tables will always say, just go until you get a playable hand with 7, and then we'll go from there. We're not in a tournament. Now, I will say potentially for a tournament, again, that is something that is a little rough because
you use more strict rules, but I'm talking about for casual command.
Well, but even for example, in the pre-con league that we're doing, that's technically a tournament, quote unquote, right?
Yeah.
I think even for if that level of tournament, if it's not a CEDH tournament, right? If it's I guess we'll call it a casual tournament, I think there should be a different rule set compared to CEDH tournament rules, right? Because in CEDH, these guys have 4 or 5 rocks that cost 0 mana. They can literally turn 1 win the game even with only 4 cards. So it is a different monster. So I do think for casual tournaments, if it's a non-CEDH tournament, I think what you're saying does make sense. I think there should be a different rule set.
While we're playing Mystical Fairyland where we're in charge.
Sure.
You know what I might do? I might take tier 1 and say you can't do Elder Dragon Highlander, I found out, because of the trademark on Highlander from the movies.
Okay.
That's why they changed the name to Commander.
Oh,
so you can't call it Elder Dragon Highlander.
Yeah.
But you could call it Elder Dragon, I don't know.
Outlander.
Elder Legendary Dragon, ELD.
Yeah.
Whatever. You make that its own format.
Okay.
Because it really doesn't fit 2, 3, and 4.
No, not at all.
You take tier 5. Make that its own format because it's CEDH. It's not the same freaking game.
Right.
It's roughly the same game, but so is Dual Commander. It has its own format.
Yeah.
Make that its own. Now you only have those 3 brackets to worry about. Maybe you add a 4th to kind of, diversify because I think there is some room for a 4th among those 3. But if you do that, a lot of these little, well, we can't change the mulligan rule because of CEDH, or we have to have these things on the ban list because of CEDH, it changes all that.
Well, but that's
you can take Soul Ring out of the ELD.
You could technically do that right now. So what I would say, so to kind of clean that up a little bit, in my opinion, you cut off one. They're non-existent. Sorry.
Cut them adrift. Do what you want.
Sorry.
You go play
bracket one or
8-hour games.
I'm going to California. I'm going to break your Titanic fault line, and I'm going to push you out into the ocean. 2 through 5. Change it to 1 to 4. And all you have to do, easiest fix, all you have to do is when you get to the 4 CEDH game changer list, say 4 is CEDH. Here's a link to the rules for CEDH. That's it. That's literally all you have to do to do the exact same thing that you said it would, right? Because then you have this 1, 2, and 3. You have 1 where you can say you get 1 game changer. You have bracket 2, which is our current 3, where you can say you can have 3 game changers. You have your bracket 3, which is 4. You had 7 game changers. Bracket 5, this is CEDH. Here they have their own rule set. Here's a link to their own rule set. Done.
Yep. You give them little pointy sticks. Go poke each other in the eye all you want.
The nice thing is with if you do it that way, what you can say is this person can be like, well, this is a 4. I want to play against a 5, or this is a 3. I want to play against a 4. See how it does. I want to see how close I am to that level, right? So that still kind of gives you that it can still play there if you want to,
right.
Because that CEDH deck could, again, I have my Prosper. When everyone knows you have a CEDH deck at the table, it very quickly becomes arch enemy. Everyone's just trying to kill you because they're like, he can combo off any second. And for the most part, even though my Prosper deck is pretty well put together, it still can't just insta win on turn 2 or 3. It can get pretty dang close. I've won on turn 3 once before. But for the most part, if someone has a 4, they're going to be pretty competitive with my 5. They're going to be in the same realm-ish. So I think if you do it that way, if you do 1 through 4, 3 becomes the 4 now, 4 becomes the 5 now, we cut off 1. The advantage of that is you can still have that, hey, you know what, this is a CEDH deck, technically this is a 5. Do any of you guys have a 5 or a 4 maybe I can play with? So that way it kind of still allows those players, like, I'm not going to a tournament, I just want to go to my local shop and maybe play with some 4s. Or, you know, we have a buddy, Danny, who built an Ozai and it says it's about a 4. He wants to play against my Prosper to see how different they might be, right?
Yeah.
So I think that would at least make it still more cohesive, because the downside is if you cut off 5, it kind of makes it feel like we don't want you, and when you cut off 1, we don't want you, us 3 and no more kind of feeling, right?
I mean, maybe, but they're still kind of the same game in the way that Dual Commander. You could take a Dual Commander deck and play it in a pod.
Right.
You could.
It's true. It's true.
You know,
so
you still could with these, but I'm just saying that might make it easier to make these rules a little simpler.
Right, yeah.
Because it gets more complicated when you're trying to include the people who think Soul Ring's OP and then the people that think that nothing should be banned. You know,
Right.
How do you make those two people? Go ahead, you guys go talk amongst yourselves.
Yeah.
You figure it out.
It's not going to go well.
So I think if you break those off, it makes it much more focused and much easier to say, okay, this is what's fair here, this is what's not.
The only thing I would say either cut off 5 and leave 1, or cut off 1 and leave 5 would be my recommendation. Because getting rid of both of them I feel like is a little excessive. If you get rid of one or the other, I feel like it would accomplish the same thing. So that way there's less diversity amongst the MTG group. Because we already have enough of that as it is, with people hating Universes Beyond, people only liking Universes Beyond, people only liking in-universe stuff, people saying that you're a filthy casual if you don't buy. Like, we already have enough. We don't need to give them more fuel for a
And then
fire.
let's not forget that we're all the redheaded stepchild of Magic in general, and all of the rest hate Commander.
Yeah, right, exactly, yeah.
They think we're ruining the game.
Yeah, so you know, to each their own, I guess.
Yeah. Anything else you want to say about the being in charge?
No,
I
think for the most part we kind of hit everything. I'm pretty comfortable with everything we went over. I think, again, trying to be more positive this year. We're not going to be as negative. I think for the most part, overall, in regards to the playing of Commander, we're at a great spot. It's very enjoyable. I have fun every time I sit down and play the game.
Yep.
There's very few times where I don't enjoy myself or
one
life.
more thing on the league while we're talking about that.
Oh, yeah.
So I was really worried there was going to be a ton of the Lorwyn decks, because they're both very good.
Yes,
there was a good portion, but I
Yep.
think there was 4 of the Avatar or the Elemental decks and 3 of the
Blight.
Mm-hmm. That's not bad.
Yeah.
I mean, it was almost half of the players that were there, but
we were closer to like 20 players, so it was about a third.
6, 6, and 12. So 24 players.
Yeah. So it was about
a third.
About a third of them.
Yeah, which was way better than I thought it would be.
Right.
Much more diversity, I think, this time in the decks.
And I think some people too were like, I don't want to run into the same deck over and over again. So like some people intentionally didn't pick those just because they didn't want to play against them.
Yeah, but again,
or
the two people who I made recommendations for
both
won their first game by a lot.
That's
the
cool.
one was the first table done. He won in like 15 minutes.
Yeah, that was wild.
That was the Team Aurora.
Yeah.
That was insane. But anyway, how about some pro tips?
Yeah, so kind of alluding to what happened in League, just so people know, there's a term called king-making. So the term king-making essentially means whatever decision this person's about to make essentially guarantees the other person will win the game.
Or you're picking which
or it might be you, and you're saying, you know what, I'm going to make sure this person wins. I'm going to do this to assure that.
I'm going to make sure this person doesn't win.
Right.
And thereby, that's going to let this person win.
Right. So I want to bring that up because it is something that does happen, and it could happen quite frequently, like it did on League Night. It happened in 2 of my 3 games I played. Now, granted, we're playing pre-con, so it's a little bit different. We don't have as much flexibility with the decks right now, so there's not really one person that's way out and able to outclass everybody because they're all pre-cons. But the reason why we're bringing this up is because king-making is something that does happen in every game. And sometimes you are the person that's sitting there, and essentially whatever you do, just know there's a chance you're going to make someone upset. Because whether you're helping that person win the game or making them lose the game, you're making the other person win the game or lose the game. And so it's one of those things where it's going to happen in the game. It's unfortunate because sometimes it's on your shoulders and you're basically like, I don't want to make this decision. And there are times where you're going to say, you know what, I'm just not going to do anything. And unfortunately, even that will still usually upset somebody. So just know that when you go to sit down on a pod and you go to play a game, if there's a moment and you can kind of see it happening where it's like, oh, no matter what I do, I'm going to help somebody win the game essentially. I would just honestly say, guys, listen, I'm sorry. Someone's going to win the game because of what I'm about to do. I don't know what else to do because this is the only chance I might have of winning the game. And, you know, if the table gets upset about that, it's going to happen. People are going to get upset that you're king-making or whatever the case may be. But
I do think what you said is good. There are times, though, if what you're going to do is not going to matter for your game,
right,
there is no chance of you winning.
Right.
But what you do could very well pick who wins.
Right.
Most of the time, I will not act in that situation. Nope, you guys figure it out. Or some will say this is horrible. You try and make a deal.
Yeah, you try to politic.
Hey, you know, I can help you, but I need you to promise that, like, you know, you give me one more turn or something.
Right.
And if they're like, no, it's like, all right. Then you know, that's different. That's a politics thing. But if you have no skin in the game, and what you're going to do is basically choose who wins.
Yeah.
I think just back out.
Yeah. Sometimes, and unfortunately, that happens.
Not saying scoop, just be like, pass turn.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes that's all you have to do. And I can almost guarantee you, even in that situation, if you're like, there's nothing I can do to help myself win, and all I'm going to do is hinder somebody else from winning, and you say pass turn, I can almost guarantee you somebody at the table is going to say, why didn't you do anything? Yep. Without fail. It will happen every single time.
Probably the player that really wanted you to do something.
Yeah, to help them win. Yeah. You know, whatever the case may be. So it's just one of those things. It happens in almost every game. There's always a moment where it's like, and you might be the person that's benefiting, like I was in the last game, or you might be the person who's getting just completely cucked in it, like I was in the second game. So it happens. It's something that is going to happen just from the natural flow of the game and the way it works. And honestly, there's been some times where I said, you know what, Duncan, you've won too much tonight. I'm going to deal with you so that way this person can win this game. Right. You know, and if they're a good sport about it, like for the most part we are, they're like, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. In a tournament, it's going to be a little different.
Yeah, obviously.
And the league is not exactly a tournament. Like I said, if I lost all 3 games naturally, it's okay.
Yeah,
who cares?
It is what it is.
It's a league. But when I have it, it's really tough just if you're going to make a decision one way or the other, at least explain.
Yeah.
Hey, this is why I chose to go this way.
Yeah, I mean, and again, that person might not want to hear it, and they might not care, and they might still be pissed off at you. But at the very least, you can say, "Listen, if I did this and it worked out, right? If I did this and it worked out in my favor, there was a chance I could have won. I had to take it. I had to shoot my shot because if I didn't do anything, there was a 0% chance I win the game." Right? So, it's just one of those things. It's going to happen. It's a natural progression of every game. There's a moment where you could potentially help somebody else win the game. There's a moment where you might be the beneficiary of someone helping you win the game because they decide to do something. And then also remember, guys, there are potentially anywhere from 1 to 21 cards that you don't know what are going to happen whenever you do your thing. You might go to board wipe, and someone might cast Heroic Intervention. Yep. That you're like, this is the only... Nope, never mind. All right, well, we're done. That was it. That was my only shot, and I'm out. So it's just be mindful of that. Be mindful that they might have a plan in their hand that you're unaware of if you're attempting to king make or being the beneficiary of
I mean, honestly, if I had a kill spell in my hand, I could have killed her Omnath.
In response, that would have been an issue.
That wouldn't have been an issue.
Right.
I didn't.
Right.
Is
so
what it is.
It's just part of the game, guys. Remember, it's a natural part. It's something that's going to happen. And I'll tell you one more little tidbit. At my birthday celebration for my wife on Saturday, myself, Danny, and David were all playing, and me and David both won a game. We both smoked Swanee pretty hard. And he was packing up. He goes like, "Yeah, I need to be humbled. I was winning too many games." he like 100% admitted it. Yeah, I've won a lot of games recently. I needed to be humbled. I needed to be put in my place real good.
Oh, good.
So it's one of those things too where even though we may not hold grudges in between games, we definitely remember how many games someone else has won compared to us. Sometimes that's the only motivation.
I have made the decision that chose who won, and the person's like, "What the heck?" I'm like, "Dude, you run the last 2."
Yeah, you won 2 in a row. Let's calm down. It's not like you're on an 8-month drought or something, But just remember, it's going to happen.
At least recognize that you're going to do that. You know what I mean? Don't be like, who cares? Just recognize the moment and make sure you handle it in the best way you can, no matter what decision you make.
Yeah.
So where can they find us, Johnny?
Oh, youtube.com/@commanderspod. We are a video podcast as well as a audio podcast. So,
speaking of which, you may not even know this. We are now on video on Spotify.
Oh, well, there you go. Now we're also on Spotify as a video podcast. So you can...
just like on YouTube, on Spotify, you can choose video or audio.
There you go.
Just for the newest episodes, by the way.
Oh, yeah. youtube.com/@commanderspod. I think the pack openings are still only going to be YouTube, though, from my understanding, because I don't upload them to Spotify when I do them.
Because they still would go out as audio. An audio podcast.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Oh, look at that guy.
Look at that guy. It's a great car. So, if youtube.com, you can find us there. Watch all of our videos. The pack openings we're trying to do. We're getting back now into the swing of having a set released every couple of months. So
next one's in March. So
So we'll have some pack openings for that, I'm sure. Sponsored by Duncan. You can also email us at cast@commanderspod.com. You can visit our website, commanderspod.com. You can go to patreon.com/commanderspod to financially support us. We greatly appreciate it. Helping us pay for the equipment and time and everything that we need to put into making this podcast is very helpful, and it's greatly appreciated.
There is a lot of software involved and a lot of licenses I have to pay for.
So, and then last but not least, podcast sites at Spotify, Audible, iHeartRadio, Apple, Amazon Music, YouTube Music, etc., etc.
And as always, play bold, swing wide, don't forget to pay the one.
We'll leave on